So this weekend in the prelims, we have the return of welterweight Kevin Lee. Welterweight Kevin Lee, I wouldn't say he's as good as the lightweight variation of Kevin Lee. I mean, both in-game and in real life. But we're going to see he has 5 perks. Wake-up call, helps him recover pretty fast. Chicken dance with Barboza, grinder, workhorse like glue. Basically a bunch of grappling perks. Striking-wise, it is extremely difficult to strike with Lee. His head movement isn't that great. Not too much punching power. Kicking-wise, he's pretty solid there. Health stats, cardio really hurts him. It's just, he is like a premier 4-star fighter because he does have a quality moveset with regards to his grappling, but he has such long arms, but he doesn't have a very flowy idol. And a lot of Kevin Lee's career kind of matches that. Like the way he came out against Edson Barboza, right, with the kickboxing, that's how you expected him to go against Ali Akinta. Like, oh, that's the perfect way you can beat somebody like Al, especially in this rematch if you go and kickbox with him. But then he goes and decides to box with the guy. Against Charles Oliveira, if you guys, some of you guys have short memory, he was grappling really well with Charles Oliveira on the ground, countering pretty well, and up until he took a pretty stupid shot and got choked out for his efforts. But he's shown to be either like one of the top lightweights on the planet or just outside of the fringe of like the top 10, top 15. I mean, even at welterweight, where he matched up with RDA, he tried to employ a pace that he couldn't sustain. Again, try to do exactly what Colby or something that Usman did, and it just wasn't sustainable. It was trying to force a lot of positions, and that's kind of like the thing about him, right? His efficiency is always in question. So he has a tough fight ahead of him this weekend. He is the underdog with good reason. So we're gonna go over to Quick Fight and hopefully find some decent players to fight against with Kevin the Motown Phenom Lee. Kobe's a fun one. Let's KO this Wonder Boy, but he wasn't too good. I might just use that for like the beginning clip. But Kobe. Now usually you guys tend to know what happens between two grapplers. Let's see. I'm gonna do my newbie test. Okay, you denied that takedown. Okay, so you have to be at least half decent to deny that. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Usually what I do in Quick Fight is I try to read what the guy's doing within the first minute, see how the distance management is, and if I see that, oh, okay, that's nice. It kind of tells me where their skill level is at, and it makes it easy to try and work along that to kind of put on a masterpiece. But okay, we'll stay right here. We'll box with you. That's some shit Kevin would do too. Try to work a bit of the Usman game plan. Left foot to the body. If you are the southpaw player, and this also applies if you're the orthodox player, that the rear hook to the body works really well. But Kevin Lee, he's been out of the UFC for quite some time. He signed a deal with Eagle FC. Had a fight against Diego Sanchez. First leg kick, I think, that Diego Sanchez threw absolutely compromised his leg. And I think that's going to be a problem against this gentleman. Is that body kicking? Against, I think it's Rinat Fakhretdinov. I think that's the guy he's fighting. Dude's like 20-1. And he's a favorite for good reason. So we'll see what variation of Kevin Lee shows up. I mean, the Kevin Lee that fought against Daniel Rodriguez was top 12, right? Top 12 welterweight. Just recently lost to Ian Gary. But Kevin was doing good until he dropped him, until he wasn't. And of course, relax. And I feel like with Kevin is that once he gets a system in place, a good system in place for his striking to flow with his grappling, he truly is still like one of the better fighters in the UFC when he puts all that shit together. There are so many memes about Kevin Lee, right? There's a chicken dance. There's the what the fuck is it? It's like it's a shit on Twitter that people be saying. Hold on, let me focus on the fight. Maybe it'll come back to me. Oh, okay. Hold on. I think I remember. It's where does Kevin Lee fit into all this? And part of that came from, he lost that interim title fight against Tony Ferguson. Was fighting with a staph infection. Almost got Tony out of there in round 1. And, gassed out hard. Got submitted. By a very vicious triangle, I believe it was. But it was just like, damn, bro. Like, can you imagine if this guy had everything together? Of course, his coach passing away, that didn't help much for the situation. He's been jumping back and forth between different training camps. Most recently, he's converted to Islam, and I think that was about like 2 years ago. So, props to him. A lot of time, I'm not the most religious person, but each of their own with regards to finding something that gives him structure. And a fighter like Kevin Lee needs something to provide him structure. And if that's the way that he needs, then I really hope it works out. Oddly enough, though, I think the guy that he's fighting, if I'm not mistaken, he withdrew from a fight because he didn't want to fight a Muslim fighter. So, because he himself is Muslim. So, that's gonna be head kick. Sneak that one through. Trying to get the the Gillespie shit. You feel me? But I don't know, man. It's tough because you don't know what variation of Kevin Lee is going to show up. He's had on lightweight. He went on a stellar amount of wins. Like, he got some quality wins, especially after that loss to Leonardo Santos. I mean, he took out Jake Matthews by TKO. This guy's he's getting busted up, isn't he? Oof, pillow fist. Then there's Magomed Mustafayev, who's real soft. Francisco Trinaldo, the Chiesa thing, we'll talk about my mama. All that's fun stuff. Quality wins. Really? Another leg spike. There we go. Set him up low. Try and work this head kick. Try to maybe work the body teep. There we go. Beat your cook. The body's going to be tender very soon. He's ducking. Do another body teep. Okay. Fucking leg spike. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. That's the only... Yo, that's the only time I actually like the conversion, because I threw a body teep and it turned to a knee and got him out of there. Okay. Not too shabby. Put him away. We put him away. That's a... Okay, we'll do that. Yeah, that's a good one. I remember this guy. I fought this guy before. It's actually... Oh, fuck. I forgot to skip the thing. We'll just block it out later. Remember how this guy fights, so... I can remember because I remember the name. Okay, yeah, he's one of those. I'll explain shortly. I want to see if he's gonna stick to what he did last time. I think last time I just won like a 5-round decision over this guy. Of course, this being quick fight, my opponent can see my HUD, so they have full view of my my block meter, my health meter, everything else. So it's solely up to my timing in order to avoid everything. And yep. Alright, the way this guy plays is actually something that a lot of newer players get frustrated with. It comes down to a lot of distance management. We're going to get him down here so we can talk. It's doing the bare minimum, but trying to get a reaction. Usually the style isn't necessarily good for winning rounds, but it is based on the other guy overreacting to what they're doing. And what this guy mainly does is that he just does a bunch of double jabs, throws a lead hook, occasionally would throw a cross, occasionally would go jab rear hook, and occasionally would go cross lead hook. It sounds really simple, but it's like the monotony of it, like how boring it is, that can kind of get you, because you're assuming that something's going to build off of that style. And I can tell by the way he's striking, it's playing the game of like long-term block breaking, which a lot of people kind of ignore. It's a thing that somebody Proxys is really good at. Don't put your ass back to that cage. I will take you down. Oh, I've been telling people, you put your ass to that cage, I'm taking you down. I'm going to hit you with some type of turn, one way or the other. Get your scraping the fucking cage for some reason. But I tell people, everybody's accustomed to a 1, 2, 3, 4 high pace when it comes to, breaking down the guard and wearing on the guard of your opponent. But long term is a really great way to slow down the fights, because the more your opponent keeps going into strikes, or they're overreacting with head movement and they're holding block when they're using head movement, which is something I gotta discuss about with regards to the mistakes that UFC players make. And I'll make that video before I head downstate. Yeah, I gotta make sure I drop that before I go downstate for sure. Is that long-term shit, like, you really feel that shit in 5-round fights. Like, the first 2 rounds, 3 or so, you're like, okay, it's kind of getting iffy, and we're gonna go for the choke here, because that's some shit Kevin Lee would do. That's a preternatural ability to go and take the back. The dude was his back takes are pretty nasty. But he's gonna score. This is gonna score big for us too. Yeah, that long-term block breaking gets real scary real quick because you start to see that long-term start to go. You start taking hits because of your short-term stamina, and this is how like this type of style is relatively effective. And it's very difficult because I think this is prime GSP. Yeah, it's prime GSP, so level 5 jab. Usually players that do this, they do it with guys like Max Holloway. They do it a lot with Volkanovski. They do it with like the best of the best because they already are at such a statistical advantage that it makes that style so much easier to employ. But usually these guys can't handle it being done right back to them. Of course, it's going to be a lot harder with using the Motown Phenom, trying to do that back. But you see, there it is. Relax. And they don't respect your space either. So I'm gonna need you to chill. So he's throwing in a couple knees. I'm gonna need you to relax. Okay, he's gonna get some leg damage. But yeah, the couple of Kevin Lee's fights that are really good to watch. I would definitely have you guys. Obviously, the Greg Gillespie KO. You know, him knocking out NCAA champion. The Trinaldo fight's a really good fight. That's like all the way back in 2017. The Matthews win is another solid win of his. What is it, James Montazeri? That the first fight against Iaquinta was always an iffy one. That was different. The Barboza performance was solid, even though he missed weight, and of course, almost got finished in round 3 with managed to get Barboza down. But this dude, he always comes to scrap, bro. He's always ready to fight. But I was very surprised that they had cut him. But it might have been for his better. I don't know if Kevin Lee asked to get released or they just cut him. I know he tested positive for Adderall, and he is diagnosed with ADHD. Thought it would be out of his system in time, and that's why he didn't apply for the therapeutic use exemption. I guess now he's done that. And this is just a fighter that's been trying to find themselves for quite a long time as I'm trying to find the right pace and rhythm to get this guy to fuck off. So I really hope he comes back and makes an emphatic statement. Because there's nothing worse than seeing like a dude that, you know, has all the talent in the world to be one of the best and just fall short. Yeah, bro, I'll play this game too. Yeah, these guys, they won't move their head for shit. It is strictly relying on the block. Look at that, the head movements that fucked me there on that pull. Uh-oh. Te jodiste, mamahuevazo. And this is the former defense, just pressuring, holding block, double jab, cross, lead hooks, and you just can't overreact. You guys got to make sure that you're circling. We're going to attack the body because all this guy's main focus is just simply head. That's it. That's all this guy's focused on is just head damage.
Well, DC headgear's not allowed, but he has raised the hands and he's doing a
nice
job protecting the dome.
He's doing a great job
blocking his head. A lot of times those shots to the head.
See, he won't follow more than 2 strikes. It's just 1 strikes or 2 strikes. 1 strikes or 2 strikes. Very monotonous and boring, but we're gonna definitely take that round to the books. Definitely gonna take that. Definitely. But guys, let me know, like, what were your favorite Kevin Lee moments in the octagon? Like, let me know what performance of Kevin Lee made you realize, oh shit, he's that dude, and then what made you go like, damn, he really needs to take some time off and chill. It sucks because, like, hold on, you there? Okay. Sucks, man, because those losses. And I really hope he gets a W this weekend. Body T. I'm gonna try to work and set up our head kick. I think the Gillespie fight, the coolest thing about that was, like, you know, Kevin Lee is like myself, where he didn't start wrestling at an early age like a lot of people that compete in the UFC, people that compete in wrestling in general. Like, he didn't start wrestling until his junior year, like me. I didn't start wrestling until my junior year of high school. And he's also a national qualifier, like myself. So for him to have the performance that he did against Gregor Gillespie, you know, somebody that I think Gillespie tried to take him down, couldn't take him down. And for him to knock out Gillespie the way that he did, I was like, yo, that's so cool. And it's inspiring because this is a dude who really by all accounts, shouldn't be here. Of his own admission. His brother also is doing well in Bellator's. Only lost some tough fights with some really good dudes. There you go, sneaking the head kick. And I think now his brother is like TikTok famous for food reviews. And it's funny, I think it was I saw it, my girlfriend brought it up. Get the Rock. And I'm like, I know this motherfucker. Like his older brother fights in the UFC. And he fights in Bellator. Yeah, this guy, you see this? You can't help it, bro. You're like a bot. You're like a bot. Relax. Come on, sit down. Get up. Get up. Let's go. Just lesson. There's a lesson here, and it's a lot of times don't overthink when you're going against your opponent. It doesn't matter. Listen, in all reality, like whether you get them out in the first round or you get them out in the third, fourth, fifth, etc., in order to make the win happen, sometimes not overreacting and not thinking that this guy's trying to follow a bunch of crazy sequences just because he chose a character. Sometimes it don't matter what the person chooses. That's just gonna be how they play, no matter what division that they're in. But that's a nice finish for this Kevin Lee showcase. I think we'll leave it at that. That's a quality head kick KO. And yeah, I wish Kevin Lee the best of luck this weekend. This is actually a really quality sleeper card. I wish more of the guys that were on this card were in this game. But that's going to be it. I'm Era 17. I appreciate all of you. I'm out of here.